Hello everyone, welcome to the Voice of Goa's TNT Daily. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We would like to hear valuable feedback from you. Now moving on to our first news today regarding the protesters in Hong Kong fighting against the national security law.
Today at around 1 p.m. in Hong Kong, nearly 20 people showed up at the International Finance Center protesting the government for claiming their slogans to be a threat to the nation's political power. At the scene, the citizens held up blank papers with no words and put out various memo papers on the ground. They shouted slogans such as "Fight to the end with one breath," and some played the music version of "Glory to Hong Kong" by replacing the original lyrics with numbers. However, at around 1:40 p.m., about 20 riot police officers entered the mall and searched at least 5 people who participated in the protest. The police examined their blank papers and ordered the protesters to take off their masks in order to record their appearances. Afterward, the police claimed the people at the scene were involved in unauthorized illegal assembly and violation of the national security law and demanded everyone to leave. Mr. He, who held the paper during the protest, said the police claimed to have recorded his information and might take further action after investigation. Mr. Tan told the reporter that the blank papers symbolize the national security law. No matter what you do or say, the CCP interprets it however they want, especially if they think you break the law. He described the national security law as white terror and a sword hanging on everyone's head. However, he pointed out that if everyone is afraid to speak up because of fear, Hong Kong will never have democracy and freedom.
Thank you for the report. Next, moving on to our second news regarding nurses infected with the CCP virus gathering in the KFC of the West Kowloon Center.
Wearing masks, practicing social distancing, and maintaining personal hygiene are the most effective ways to prevent from contracting the CCP virus. In the early days, a policewoman had been infected by a patient after 20 minutes of talking in a restaurant. Another local case had been confirmed in a restaurant as the person met with another patient. Zhang Zhujun, the director of the Department of Infectious Diseases, disclosed in a press conference that a 41-year-old female nurse was diagnosed on July 5th who had no travel history but was in close contact with a patient on June 24th. They had a half-an-hour encounter at KFC located at the West Kowloon Center. During this period, the nurse did not wear a mask at all times. However, when the authority began to trace the patient's contact history, the person did not mention the encounter with the nurse at the restaurant. The authority speculated whether the patient has concealed their contact history. Nevertheless, the authority encouraged the patient to look back at their text messages and social media platform to see their past history. The nurse who got infected lives in Chunsha Bay and is responsible for drug administration at the clinic on Castle Peak Road, and has little contact with patients. However, the nurse was working during the incubation period, including June 30th and other days. On July 2nd, she began to have sore throat and feel dizzy. Then she had a fever the next afternoon and she was still working. She also went hiking in a reservoir with her friends on July 1st and met her mother on July 2nd. However, the authority was more concerned about the nurse's colleagues, doctors, nurses, and the cleaners of the clinic. All of them now have been sent to the quarantine center. The authority highly recommends practicing social distancing, noticing signals such as sore throat and fever, and always remembering the people who are in close proximity.
Thank you for the report. Next up is news about suspected case of bubonic plague recently discovered in Inner Mongolia. According to the latest news from Global Times, the city of Bayanao in Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region of China notified a suspected case of bubonic plague. After studying, the Health Commission decided to issue a Level 3 early warning of plague prevention and control, and they announced to enter the early warning period from July 5th and called on the public to strictly abide with the 3 don'ts and 3 reports, including calling on the unauthorized hunting of epidemic animals, the non-stripping of epidemic animals, canceling the unauthorized carrying of epidemic animals and other products out of the epidemic area to report cases of dead marmots and other animals, report suspected plague patients, and report unexplained high fever patients and emergency death patients. Bubonic plague, also known as the lymphatic bubonic plague, is one of 3 plagues and is an infectious disease caused by plague bacillus. The plague is usually prevalent in rodents and then transmitted to humans through the bites of rats and fleas. When it develops into pneumonic plague, it can also be transmitted from person to person. While the CCP virus is still ongoing, other disasters are also happening. It is just that the CCP media don't report it. TNT Daily is here to notify you about the newest and most credible news. Please follow us and pay attention to our next news regarding the CCP's military commission, which tested vaccines on soldiers.
The CCP's military commission tested vaccine on soldiers. Under the CCP virus epidemic, the development of vaccines has pulled attention. CanSino Bio announced at the end of last month that the company has developed a vaccine, AD5-nCoV, which has been approved by the Central Military Commission. However, the US media recently quoted the international medical journal The Lancet that nearly half of the people who received this vaccine had side effects, including 46% fever, 44% fatigue, 39% headache, and 9% of the vaccinators overall suffered from impaired activity. Related experts responded indifferent to the vaccine's results.
Although the CCP is supposedly trying to reduce its loss by investing in vaccines, their technology and mindset have not yet allowed them to. Our next news regarding the Three Gorges Dam will provide more details about it.
Severe flood reconstruction. At least 17.7 million people in 26 provinces and cities affected. The mainland has been hit by disastrous rainstorms recently. Officials state that the resulting floods in the first half of this year have affected 17.7 million people in 26 provinces. However, due to the ongoing belief of data concealment by the CCP, the true situation of the disaster may be far more serious than the CCP announced. In addition, on July 6th, Zhenjiang City, Hubei Province, initiated a Level 1 emergency flood control response, and the emergency response of Wuhan was raised from Level 3 to Level 2. Chongqing launched a Level 3 response in flood defense, and the emergency response to rainstorm in Anhui was upgraded to Level 2. The Meteorological Bureau expects that continuous rainstorms will continue to cover the eastern part of the southwestern region to the middle and lower reaches of the Yangtze River in the next 4 days. In addition, there will be many convective weathers in northern China, northeast China, northern Huanghai, and other locations on July 6th and 7th. In southern Jiangnan, southeast China, among other places, the temperature remains high, and the Fujian area will reach 37 degrees Celsius or above. According to mainland media reports, on July 6th, the CCP Emergency Management Department stated that the national average precipitation of 275.9 mm in the first half of the year was 7% more than the previous year. The pre-flood season in southern China, March 25th, and the Jiangnan Meiyu period on June 1st were 12 and 7 days earlier, respectively. 14 regional rainstorms occurred, with an increased total river water inlet, and critical floods had occurred in 309 rivers in 19 provinces, of which 45 rivers had exceeded fortified levels. 12 rivers in total had exceeded historical flood levels. According to statistics, the flood destruction in the first half of the year had affected 17.7 million people in 26 provinces. 119 people are missing or dead, 848,000 people have been urgently transferred, and 15,000 properties have collapsed, resulting in a direct economic loss of 39.31 billion yuan. In the first half of the year, the windstorm disasters affected 10.9 million people in 1,129 counties in 29 provinces, with 65 people missing or dead, including 30 people killed by lightning strikes. 36,000 people were urgently transferred, 437,000 properties were damaged, and 16 million hectares of crops were damaged also, resulting in a direct economic loss of 18.8 billion yuan. However, it is worth noting that the CCP officials have always been accused of misrepresenting figures or concealing real data. Three Gorges Dam flood causes Yangtze River water levels to soar. Wuhan Hankou River beach completely submerged. On July 5th, the torrential rain in Wuhan continued, and the water level of the lower Yangtze River surged due to the flood discharge of the Three Gorges Dam. The water level of the Yangtze River in Wuhan has exceeded the fortified warning level by 1.6 meters. The Wuhan flood release system is in an incapacitated or semi-incapacitated state, and the entire city is once again submerged in water. The Hankou River beach has been completely submerged also. Videos posted by netizens showed that Wuhan Friendship Avenue has turned into a river with a water depth of about half a meter. Wuhan Friendship Avenue is a main avenue parallel to the Yangtze River, with a distance of only 2 blocks. The disaster in other parts of Wuhan is even worse. The river beach in Hankou is on the Yangtze River. Now it is completely submerged. If one needs to travel to the big entertainment stage in Hankou, one can only travel by boat. According to the Yangtze River Hydrology Network, the water level of Hankou has reached 26.59 meters, which has exceeded the fortified warning level by 1.6 meters, an increase of 0.8 meters from 2 days ago. Currently, the Jiangtan Promenade is completely underwater. Polihuadu Estate on Huquan Street, Hongshan District, is also submerged under 1 meter of water. According to reports by the CCP media, after the first flood peak appeared in the upper reaches of the Yangtze River, the Three Gorges Dam has opened a third flood release void. However, the flood peak has not yet arrived, and the water level in the Three Gorges Dam has continued to rise, suspected of being dysfunctional. Both Wuhan and Chongqing face flooding.
Now, moving on to our last news today regarding the CCP's attempt to pressure Somalia to cease trading with Taiwan.
The Republic of China made an announcement on the 1st of July to set up manual embassies with Somalia. Local news sources such as Somaliland Chronicle have revealed that the CCP have visited twice trying to convince their government to cut all political ties with Taiwan. The president of Somalia tweeted on July 1st that their relationship with Taiwan is one based on shared value and respect, and their embassy at Taiwan will be set up shortly. According to Somaliland Chronicle, CCP's ambassador first visited Somalia right after their international relationship representative panel came back from Taiwan at the beginning of this year. Sources also reveal details from the meeting ambassadors Tan Xian had with Somali foreign minister. Tan Xian offered to set up communication center at the capital Hargeisa if Somalia ceased relationship with Taiwan. The foreign minister replied back that Somalia is open to building relationship with all and every country including the CCP, but refused to stop working with Taiwan. In the very next day, the president kept the same stand on the matter. The Somaliland Chronicle later confirmed with the minister that he and their president did, in fact, meet the CCP ambassador.
Alright, everyone, that's all for today. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.